DOSBOX-X. It is like the coolest DOS emulator. If you don't know what DOS is, there was these things in the 80s and 90s called PCs, right? What is a PC? PC is short for personal computer. Basically, they used to be these like large plastic towers or boxes, like a cardboard box but made out of metal, and you'd stick a monitor on front. You'd have a chunky ass keyboard somewhere in there, and then you just like access applications like Word Perfect or Microsoft Word or Excel or Lotus Notes or, you know, games like Doom. Or you could even browse the internet from early web browsers like Netscape and Internet Explorer. And it was so much fun. I tell you, if you had access to like a PC in the 80s and 90s, you were in for a wild ride. Now, while it wasn't the whole networking research Unix kind of thing that was happening in some parts of the world, like France and in the United States and in the UK and in Europe, Switzerland, and so on, the PC was like the mass market personal computer. It was what you wanted to do for whatever you wanted to do at home, for your business, for fun, for taking notes or whatever. It was just like a whole bunch of fun and really enjoyable. And you could even learn how to program. And that's how I originally learned how to program. Is my first PC was like an 808.6, which was like not a Pentium, not a 286, not a 486, but like a 086. And it came with DOS, I think 5.1, or maybe it was earlier, and it came with Quick Basic. And there was like inside the DOS manual, there was like code about how to code assembler and how to use like debugging and stuff, like a debug program where you could actually like write programs in assembler and save them to disk and then run them. And there were example programs using like interrupt 20H to print stuff to the screen. I mean, it was wild. Like suddenly, like I was just a random kid, like 10 years old or whatever it was, so curious about this. I get all this like shiny, maybe it wasn't so shiny, but like, you know, those book manuals, they had that smell of like a giant like book with that ink and that paper, and it smells like there's a lot of knowledge in here, right? And I took that and I looked into it and I was like, holy shit, all these programs that are on the computer that are like made by professionals somewhere far away across the world that I know nothing about, I can actually make a little program that'll say something on the screen. And so I just got into this so much, like, and then Quick Basic, it was like, well, that's an easy way to create graphics and colors. And then I figured out, well, you know, it wasn't that fast. You couldn't get all kinds of access to all kinds of graphics. You couldn't get raw access to things. And you couldn't play with bits and binary, so you couldn't really generate lots of random stuff. And I was really into generating random stuff because then I thought I could generate all these like random graphics and colors. And so eventually, after going into assembler for a bit and realizing this is too fucking hard, I got into C, and that was sort of the beginning of my journey of like, holy shit, I can create things that create this like pseudo randomness and then print shit to screen, whether it's characters like a matrix style, characters cascading down the screen, or it's like colors and shapes. And it was just the coolest thing in the world. This was like in the 80s and 90s doing this and having these like, you know, 640 by 480 monitors, and there's people playing Dooms, and I'm like putting shapes on the screen and colors, and I'm like, holy shit, I could do this. I could like make this kind of stuff. I could make something happen. I'm having an interaction with this machine. I have power in this machine where I can make things, and it's just so cool. Like when I grew up, I really like drawing. I like banging around on some instruments, but the computer was something different. It was like so flexible and cool, and like you could express so many things that you couldn't express, you know, somewhere else. So the PC and early operating systems like DOS, like what is DOS? Like what is DOS 5.1, MS-DOS? Like look at that. Look at what that looks like. That is what I grew up with, that kind of blue screen. And to this day, my Vim RC settings are basically a blue background with yellow text, no syntax highlighting. Literally, it's been like that way for about 15 years. But I grew up with this kind of shit as an interface on personal computers, on library computers, and it was just the coolest thing. Like this is some kind of file explorer program, and I was like, this is so cool. Look, you can see all the little parts of the system. What do they do? What do all those weird names do? They're all like sound like code words, because the names had to be like 8 and 3, like 8 characters maximum, and then 3 for an extension. And it was just the coolest little world to get into at that time. Okay, I did not want AI mode, but anyway. Alrighty. So that's my experience with DOS. And now, what is DOSBox? DOSBox is this super cool emulator where you can run DOS and that kind of environment on modern systems. And it actually turns out you can do a whole lot of shit with that. Like you can run old DOS games. Like you can run Doom. You can run Doom in DOSBox. And you can run whole operating systems in DOSBox. Look at this. Windows 9X NT4 and later versions supported. I mean, isn't that insane? Like you can run an operating system. Look at this. This is like Word for DOS running in DOSBox-X. Just look at these glorious pictures. How cool is that? Seriously. And look, you can run Tomb Raider. Like, look at those graphics. It's so compelling. It's so immersive. There's something about those pixelated graphics and the kind of flat, matte, magic hour shadows that you get, and the textures and just the way it arranges and the perspective. It's like a whole new art form, like when, you know, in the 1600s they were doing perspective paintings, and now you've got like classic, and you got textures, and you got perspective, and you got architecture in these games. It's like the same kind of thing. It's so immersive. And look, this is Windows 98 running in DOSBox. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about old Windows systems running in DOSBox. And it is literally the coolest thing. Because, like, look at all those icons. Those icons are awesome. Like, they are so much better than any icon you've seen today. Look at that mouse. Look at that add new hardware. Look, there's a CD. There's, like, some kind of memory chip or other, you know, sound card. There's maybe a disc or something. Like, it's so cool. Icons today totally suck. And look at the icons back then. Like, it's all so obvious what the interface does. Oh, I was just about to try to interact with that, because it's the kind of interface where you're like, you want to touch it. You want to interact with it because it looks so touchable. It looks so interactable, but it's just a photo. So we're actually going to bring that to life using the power of this great thing called DOSBox-X. I don't know much about the history of the project, but DOSBox-X is basically some kind of high-powered, high collaborator count fork of an original DOSBox kind of thing. And there's just like so much shit you can do with it. So I highly recommend you head to this website and just check it the fuck out, because you'll be able to you run DOSBox-X on like all kinds of systems. I'm running it on macOS here. What macOS version do I have here? Okay, Sequoia 15.16.1, right? It's on an old MacBook Air, and it totally running fine. So it's amazing. So systems that were built for like Intel x86 processors are running emulated totally fine, super fast on DOSBox-X on macOS. Okay, and look, there's even a project on GitHub. Let's check that out. Wow, look, it's from one guy, John Campbell. I thought it was a whole team. Let's check the collaborators. Yeah, okay, 145. See, lots of collaborators. High collaborator count. They're merging in. 20,000 commits. Last one's 2 days ago. 3,000 stars. 100 people are watching. 400 forks. But those numbers do not give an accurate picture of the impact. This project is huge and impactful and amazing. Look at these issues. That tells you how much demand there is. 1,000 issues. That's all these different people who are using this and then comment to the issues. And imagine how many more people are using it, finding an issue, and they don't go to GitHub to report it. So DOSBox-X is a huge project, an amazing project, a great project. It's not just about the aesthetic of retro computing or bringing back something from an earlier time. There's something real here, and maybe, even if we can't put it into words, maybe we'll get a picture of some of that by what we're going to do today. So, basically, you need to set up DOSBox-X on your computer. So luckily, I've used an AI to help me come up with an amazing script to set up DOSBox-X on your computer. Now, this script is supposed to be cross-platform. macOS and Linux, right? I don't know about Windows. I don't know about that. We probably have to use PowerShell for that. Okay, but that's something else. This will basically get you set up. If you got a macOS and you got a Linux, this should get you set up, although I have only tested on the macOS for now. This script will get you set up with DOSBox, and it'll get you set up with installing Windows 95, Windows 98, anything like that. It'll take care of the config, the setup, all the commands you have to do. It'll do everything. This script is the bomb. So I want to show you how to do that right now. So what you're going to need to do, if you want to do it in this automated way, follow the steps. If you don't, you can circle back to how to do that a bit later, because there are guides out there on the DOSBox website about how to do this. So you want to drop into a shell prompt, and you want to just clone this repository, right? So you want to run your git clone, or whatever your alias is. Okay, so you copy the link. Oh, that's my link because I'm a contributor to this. So you can't use that link because you don't have the private keys. You got to use this link, but that's no problem. That just means you can't push to that remote. So git clone this. So we're cloning this down. Then let's have a look what's inside here. Okay, we didn't really want to see the git stuff, but I don't know how to exclude it with that. But basically, all you're interested in is this grok branch, because hey, I'm not going to diss anyone here. I'm just going to say you're interested in the grok branch. That's the branch you want. So that's the command you want. And look at this. You got a couple of commands here. Setup, that's the first thing you run. That will actually install Dropbox. Sorry, not not Dropbox. Sounds same, very different. It's going to install DOSBox-X. It's going to create the right folders. And then you want to go new, and that's going to create like a folder to contain your actual virtual machine for DOSBox, because DOSBox will give you like a hard disk image, create that. Well, actually, DOSBox won't give you that, but it'll expect that, and we create that for you. We create the config, and now the next one you're going to want to run is the attach ISO key. So you're going to have to find an ISO for some of these. So you can find that. Now, maybe I'm not allowed to search for it on here because that would be like showing you how to download software that's like, hey, it's 25 years old, but there's probably some automated lawyer programs that are looking for this kind of stuff that'll be like, and YouTube in their amazingness will be like, well, we don't want to take on any risk at all, so if you even hint about how to try to find some software that potentially could be under copyright in any way, then scan and ban the video, possibly. So, but I can tell you that those ISOs are out there. They're on archive.org. You can search for them. You probably want to look at the DOSBox guide to tell you which ISOs you need, but a good ISO for the Windows ones is basically the latest you can get. That's like the OSR 2.5, something like that. So you want to get your ISO, right? You want to get your ISO. Once you download your ISO to your downloads folder, which I'd love to show you, but I think if I show you, it's going to be like, meh. Okay. So we got this path to ISO here, right? So we want to attach the ISO into the thing. So you know what? I'm going to go and find an ISO right now. I'm going to download it. But then this part of the video is probably going to be cut out. Okay. Here we go, look at this. Now you can either get the self-bootable Windows 98 or you can get the non-bootable Windows 98. So let's just go, okay, Windows 98 ISO archive. Second edition, first edition, SE. Now, is OSR for Windows 95? Yeah, I think that's, yeah, Windows 95 is the OSR. Windows 98, you probably want to go something like this. Second edition. Click on this. Boom, you got your Windows 98. I think this is the one that I used. It's about a 600 megabyte download. And then you just download it. It'll drop down there, right? Okay, so we're downloading that. Probably have to cut this part out. Okay. Now we want to run the commands, right? Let's just dive right in. Okay, so grok WinPower. Okay, it shows us this. We want to set up. DOSBox is already installed. Yeah, it's installed. But if it wasn't installed, it would use Homebrew on macOS to install it. And if you're on Linux, it'll use the right package manager to attempt to install it. But like I said, I haven't tested this script on Linux. If you want to give it a try and then you find something, head over to that repository, make a pull request, and fix it. Alrighty. So setup complete. Put your Windows ISOs in there. Don't worry, you don't have to do that. We'll automatically attach it. You can just download it to your downloads folder. Now, let's create a Windows 98. You know what? Let's create a Windows 95 first, because that's kind of more cool in a way. So it's creating a pre-formatted HDD image. It's writing a config. And we've got launchers for install and start. Okay, great. To be honest, I don't even read that stuff. I'm just like, yeah, something's happening and it's good. Okay, grok WinPower. Now we want to attach the ISO, right? So the OS key is the Win95, and then where's our ISO? Downloads. Oh, that's Windows 98. We gotta get that. We gotta get the Windows 95 ISO now. Here we go. This looks pretty good. This looks good. Let's get this one. So this is a 500 megabyte download. But thank God the archive.org, you know, is so fantastic that the bandwidth on the archive.org permits this kind of stuff. Alrighty. So our download is pretty much complete. There we go. Windows 95 OSR. Oh, come on. What's it doing? There we go. So we've attached the ISO. Now the next step is install, right? What's going to happen? It's going to run DOSBox. It's running DOSBox. It's X copying stuff. Let's put it in a workspace. Let's go and have a look. Now, we don't have to watch this, but it's kind of fun. This is what DOS and Windows used to look like. So cool. Look at that. Look at that progress bar. How awesome is that? That is done with IBM code page characters. Like they're just ASCII characters. Okay, so we are getting the setup, and this is all automated. You just have to issue a couple of commands and download an ISO, and you are running Windows 95 in basically an hour, because the setup takes about an... Look at this! Windows 95 setup. Look at that. Hey, welcome to Windows 95 setup. You see my tiny mouse here? Let's sync up and get that giant mouse. Okay, I clicked in. Welcome to Windows 95. Congratulations on your choice of Windows 95, the newest and easiest way to do what you want to do with your PC. See? PC. PC is what it's about. Setup will take 30 to 60 minutes. They're not lying, depending on the speed of your computer. Even where emulating and you somehow could be faster, it's still going to take that long. To begin setup, click continue. Look at this. How cool is this? Look at that little icon there. The computer, and there's like a box, the box that you bought, and there's discs going into the machine. The icons are just fire. They're so cool. Yeah, okay, I'm agreeing to this. We could actually read this. Look at this. Read carefully. This end-user license agreement is a legal agreement between you, either an individual or a single entity, and the manufacturer, the PC manufacturer, or the computer system, computer, with which you acquired the Microsoft software product identified above, software product or software. End user license agreement for Microsoft software, Microsoft Windows 95. Okay. If the software product is not accompanied by a new computer system, you may not use or copy the software product. The software product includes computer software, the associated media, any printed materials, and any online. Oh, you notice how they quote online? This was the 90s, man. Online was still like not considered really real somehow, or electronic documentation. By installing, copying, or otherwise using the software product, you agree to be bound by the terms of this EULA. If you do not agree with the terms of this EULA, PC manufacturer and Microsoft are unwilling to license the software product to you. In such event, you may not use or copy the software product, and you should promptly contact PC manufacturer for instructions on return of the unused products for a refund. I kind of like that language. I am in the software manufacturing business. I am in the software licensing business. That language sounds kind of cool to me. Okay, so do you accept all of the terms? Yes, I do. Alrighty, so let's rock in for the thing. Okay, yes. Look at this. You got CDs, you got discs, you got a... Look, you're expected to maybe take notes for the process. That's so cool. We probably want to just take the typical installation. Oh, our OEM. We need to enter our OEM key. What is it? Oh my God, I got to remember this. It's 34698 003 9682. $72135. Alrighty. Did I get it right? Name, Chris, company, do say go. Okay. Yeah, I think we have this stuff, but we might not have it yet. I'm not sure. Look how cool this setup is. Oh, 95, 96, 97. It's getting there. Did it find any hardware? Okay, install the most common components. Sounds good. Let's do it. Copy the files. This is so cute. Look at this. There's a drum. It's literally a drum roll in visual form. Look at all this. It's so visual, so much graphics. Like, you got to remember, this is like coming at a time where operating systems before this were almost totally black and white, but not entirely. Maybe colors were much less. And even before that, there was like operating systems built with like characters, like text user interface. This is like, look, there's 3D graphics kind of thing. Look at a printer and computers. So cool. Oh my God, look at that. There's even a game on the monitor there. Okay, and now there's a disabled person symbol or something on the monitor. What's that? Accessibility. Wow. Windows 95 was bringing accessibility even back in 1995. Amazing. Amazing. Plug and play. Huh? Wow, look at that. A tiny little laptop. So cool. And look, a laptop with chunky keys on the keyboard. That's what we all want. We all want a laptop with chunky keys. Why don't they have chunky keys now? Look at that. There's mail. It's like postal mail because nobody knew how to represent email because that was still air quotes online. Alrighty. So you don't really have to do much while it's installing. It does kind of take care of everything for you. The Microsoft Network is something that's not going to work today. You may want to crack open a beverage while the install proceeds. You need to register your software. Well, I kind of have a feeling that that registration link probably doesn't exist anymore. And don't worry about it. You'll be fine. That's so cute. You got a book and your magnifying glass. Because, you know, everybody needs a magnifying glass to read books. Okay, I think for this restart, we might have to kind of manually intervene. Yeah, probably. Yeah, let's intervene. Because we don't... Basically, DOSBox is like a fixed kind of boot process thing, even though the disk gets updated. So DOSBox will be kind of doing its steps every time. Now that we've kind of installed, I think we can actually do the run step and we can start it. I hope so anyway. Look at that. Something's happening. Is it what we want? Oh my God, I think it is. Oh my God, something's happening. Look at this, setting up your hardware. It is actually installing on my Mac. Look, this is actually a Mac machine. I'm not lying to you. Look, there's Safari. See, this is about my Mac. It is actually a Mac machine. And yet, we are running Windows 95. Oh my God, look at this. Look, we've got a kind of a montage, artistic, of CD-ROMs. We got LAN connections. We got a giant, fancy-looking keyboard and a mouse. Very cool. Very cool. And we got the classic hourglass progress indicator here. Who else likes to jiggle their mouse? I don't know if you do it these days, but we used to do that all the time back in the day. You jiggle your mouse, you click randomly, because you felt that doing that actually made the install or the install process complete quicker, or the software open quicker, the window update quicker. Like by jiggling your mouse, that was like, oh my God, something's gonna happen faster. Okay. All right, that looks good. Tijuana. Okay, we're in Tijuana. But it wouldn't accept Tijuana. It wants me to be in Arizona, so we'll accept. There we go. Date and time sounds good enough to me. Okay, let's print. Alrighty. Okay, let's go with the Apple Laser Writer. Maybe we'll go the Apple Laser Writer 2. Oh, come on, let's go the Plus. Let's go the Apple Laser Writer. Oh, there's a Pro. A Pro with a big number? Okay, let's go the Pro. Okay. Yeah, let's print that test page. psmon test ps.txt. A test page is now being sent to the printer. To be honest, there's no printer in this room. But I'm going to say yes, it did print correctly. Setup is finished. Okay, let's restart. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Starting Windows 95. How cool is that? Running on a Mac. And you can see the strange DOSBox log and output here. I don't know what it's doing, but oh, something's happening. Startup chime. Look at that. You know what? I think we could do with some graphics or maybe a little bit bigger. How about that? And maybe, let me try a bit of 16-bit color. Give this a shot. Okay. All right, standard monitor types. I'm going to go with probably some Super VGA thing. Apply the settings without restarting. Look at Windows, it's so capable. So capable. Excellent. Okay, now, that's it. Look, I've run Windows 95 on this crazy little machine. Look at that, isn't that amazing? Oh my God, look. Wow. This is DOS, by the way. Well, some people would probably say it's not DOS, it's the Windows command prompt. I don't know the difference. It looks like DOS to me. Is there a help command? No, there's not. Wow, look at that. Oh, there's no type completion. Okay. See, I don't really know what I'm doing inside this old system, but it's pretty cool anyway. Okay, look, it's Windows. Wow. Fantastic. Now, I want to get on the internet. Because that's what this is really about, right? Like, it's fun to open up an old system. Look, maybe I've got some games, but you all know what the games are. Okay, I'll see if I can open it anyway. Are there games? Or I have to install them? Well, there's Paint. Classic Paint. Look at that. Wow. But what you really want to do is you want to browse the web, right? I mean, that's what everybody wants. How do we do it? Now, because our amazing script set it all up properly, we don't have to insert any disks because we've copied those install files to the hard disk itself. My modem, I don't think it'll succeed, but anyway. Because now I'm pretty sure none of these are going to help us, because what we actually need is we need that network adapter, right? So let's cancel this. What we actually need is a network adapter. So how do we get that? Well, we got to install new hardware. Let's add the new hardware. So let's find what hardware we got. Oh no. Now this is something I forgot to update in the amazing script, which I'm gonna update right now. Okay, so what we need to actually add is a network adapter, right? But unfortunately, the network adapter needs to be set up in the DOSBOX-X conf file. And this amazing script, as good as it is, did not find that. Oh look, these pages are actually the pages of the test printer. Look. Look at that. It's a test page from the printer. Look. Title printer test page. Isn't that cool? So it'll actually print out the images. All right. So what we do here is we have a conf file. That looks something like this, right? But there's no networking thing in this. So we need to update this with the networking from the working configs. That's what should have been in here for this video, but it wasn't. So let's update it now. We're doing Windows 95 right now, right? Okay, look at this. This is our networking right here. So let's find the render in here. Okay, and we'll put our networking in. And that's what we need to do. Yeah. So I'm just gonna copy that across right now. Like, oh, let's go back one. Okay, now when we start Windows 95, it'll start up with that networking, and we'll be able to install the software for it, which will be the beginnings of us getting online. We're going to get online in Windows 95 on a macOS running in DOSBox in 2025. That's like 30 years later. Amazing. Okay. Here we go. Wow, look at this. Windows 95. I just want to take a minute to like absorb how cool this is. Look at all these little programs you can play with. Like, look at this. What are all these crazy little programs? Look at them. Internet news. What's Microsoft Net Meeting? Is that like Skype or something? Incredible. Look at this. To fill all that out. Amazing. So cool. Okay. So what we want to do now is, now that we've got some hardware attached to our emulated system, we want to go make Windows detect that hardware. So we open up our little control panels, add new hardware, da 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 da, and we do this. Detect. We're nearly done. Now this time, it's going to detect something. And if it doesn't, you can sue me. I mean, isn't this amazing? We're detecting hardware. That's it, the NE2000 compatible. It's a networking card. Why don't we go on a little rabbit hole to discover, while this installs, what this is actually about? Like, ring buffers. Whoa, there we go. 16-bit ISA Ethernet card from Novell that became a de facto standard in the late 1980s and 90s. Wow, so old. Using American technology. Love it. National Semiconductor. Look at that beautiful thing. So somehow that crazy thing is emulated in DOSBox. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Okay. Now, let's make sure we can set this up right. So we go to System, right? Because we want to configure, I think. Make sure it's okay. Network adapters. Look at that. Look at that. Check the properties. Okay. Looks reasonable. Looks all right. All right. Now, we want to go to Internet something. We want to set up the Internet settings. Internet. There we go. So here, you focused on connection. I guess so. No, that's not right. Okay, maybe that's not right. Navigation. I think we actually need to run through the Internet Explorer. Oh my God, did I download a Windows 95 without Internet Explorer in it? I think I might have. We want to use a local area network. Here we go. Oh no, I don't want to. Oh, here's Internet Explorer. Yes, okay. But we actually need to set up now. This is a really early Internet Explorer. Wow, 83. This was a really old one that we set up here. Okay, connection. Okay, none of this is correct. What we actually want is we want to connect through a LAN. Network, maybe. Okay, yes, that's what we want. That's what we want. This is what we want. Look at this. Look at this. This is what we want. We want our DNS. Enable the DNS. Let's add some common. Let's add. We got to give ourselves a name. And let's add some common DNS people on here. What is going on there? Jesus. That's Cloudflare and Google. Thank you, benevolent Cloudflare and Google. Okay, advanced NetBIOS, bindings, DNS, gateway, wins, IP address. Yes. Okay, all of this is good. Okay. Okay. This is what we want. Yes, let's restart now. That's what you need to do. You need to go to network after you've installed that hardware, and you need to set up that configuration. You need to enable DNS and add some DNS resolvers. 8888 and 1111. Perfect. Now we restart. Let's get online, people. Windows 95, bringing it back to the future internet on the macOS, running DOSBox to run Windows 95 from 30 years ago. We're making a 30-year-old system connect to the internet of today. That's like the past seeing the future. Isn't that crazy? Okay. Come on, Internet Explorer. Why do you not have a shortcut? Can I create a shortcut? Okay, let's try to go to Google. Oh my God. But you have DNS. Why? Why? This is not right. Let's try this anyway. No. Oh my God, the version of Windows 95 I picked was too old. Too old. Oh my God, no. It's not a modem, it's a LAN. Why will it not let me connect through a LAN? I guess I need to update Internet Explorer, but how can I do that without the internet? Oh my God. Let's give it one last try. Here we go. Let's set the properties on this. We gotta set our IRQ to 10. Come on. Because that's what it said in the setup. The IRQ was 10. I think this will make more options possible. This will actually get us on the LAN and probably bring that option up. That's what you need to do. Oh my God. Alrighty, let's take a look at our networking settings now. Okay. Okay, looks good, looks good. Let's see if Internet Explorer is happy. Come on, we should see some DNS resolutions here. Oh, look at that, look at that. Did you see that? Did you see that? Oh, I can't even display an image, but it's Google. You're about to send information over the internet. It might be possible for other people to see what you were sending. Yeah, I think it is, because I'm making a fucking YouTube video. Do not show this warning. No, let's see it again. Let's find out about security. What's that? Overview. Security on the internet. The internet, capital I, capital T, works by sending information from computer to computer until the information reaches its destination, like Chinese whispers. When data is sent from point A to point B, every computer in between has an opportunity to look up what's being sent. Oh, isn't that friendly? This can pose a security problem. Yeah. You don't say. For example, you are viewing a clothing catalog on the World Wide Web and you decide to buy a shirt. This requires that you type information into an order form, including your credit card number. You know the clothing company in question is reputable, so you type your credit card number and other information and then send the completed form. Your information passes from computer to computer on its way to the clothing company. Unfortunately, one of the computers in between has been infiltrated by criminals who watch the data passing through that computer until they see something interesting, such as your credit card number. But what if you don't have any money? I mean, serious question. How often does something like this happen? It's hard to say. As the manufacturer of a reputable internet browser, we really don't know what's going on out there. Hard to say. But the important thing is, it's technically possible, and as the internet grows, it could happen more and more. Well, I guess that kind of played out like they thought it would. How does Microsoft Internet Explorer help protect you and your data? Many internet sites are equipped to prevent unauthorized people from seeing the data sent to and from those sites. These are called, air quotes, secure sites. Because Internet Explorer supports the security protocols used by secure sites, you can send information to a secure site with safety and confidence. When you are viewing a page from a secure site, Internet Explorer displays a lock icon on the status bar. They pioneered the lock icon? Fascinating. Amazing. Internet Explorer can also notify you when you're about to do something that might pose a security risk. Isn't that smart? That's like AI. I'm about to do something. It knows what I'm going to do, and it predicts with foreknowledge my actions and prevents or warns me from doing that. Hey, you're about to drive off the edge of a cliff. Don't do that. Internet Explorer, the amazing, updated artificial intelligent agent from 1995. For example, if you're about to send your credit card number to a non-secure site, Internet Explorer can warn you that the site is not secure. If the site claims to be secure, but its security credentials are suspect, Internet Explorer can warn you that the site might have been tampered with or might be misrepresenting itself. To specify when Internet Explorer should warn you, click the View menu, click Options, and then click the Security tab. What great copy that is. There's so much information. It's so accessible, the way they've written it, and it ends with an action item. Like, the quality of the fucking helping docs and the copy in these is incredible. Much respect, Internet Explorer help. Look at this. There's a whole Bible about Internet Explorer. Contents, index. Isn't that cool? What can we type? TLS. SSL. Oh, look at this. There's actually a document on SSL. Huh? Okay. Well, that was an interesting index. Here we go. For website administrators. Look at this. Isn't this cool? So this is what you're looking at. This is web history right here. I think this stuff is so cool because in this 600 megabytes of ISO, there is so much structure and information. It's just a fascinating place to visit. And that's what we're doing. We're visiting this place. Okay. Let's send that. Oh my God. Google, the internet. Wow, look at this. Oh my God, how cool is this? Just again, this is Windows 95. Windows 95 running on macOS in 2025, running on a M1 Mac, Apple Silicon, running through the power of DOSBox-X. It's emulating, and we installed and we're running an entire operating system from 30 years ago. This is so cool. Wow. So we're in Washington from our IP address. Isn't that amazing? I think that's amazing. What's this little icon? It's nothing. It's a page. Okay. Let's click on Wikipedia. It's going to fail out, I think. Oh, because I'm oh, look at that. Oh! The reason it can't do it is because the cipher suites, the cryptography options, are unavailable to this 30-year-old computer, because now we use all these like secure, I'm going to throw those air quotes in there, air quotes secure cipher protocols, which back then had not even been invented. And the ones they were using back then, we don't use them anymore because we've decided they're no longer air quotes secure. And that's why it won't work. But maybe we can use the HTTP version of the website. Let's try it. It's going to upgrade me. Wikipedia, upgrading, terrible. Because it tried to upgrade me to HTTPS. So look, what you're examining right now is the problem with ancient browsers, Internet Explorer 3.0! 1995. Literally came out in 1995 to 1996. Based on NCSA Mosaic, which was basically, holy crap, I think also the basis of Netscape. I think it was written by that guy with the pointy head, who's very rich now, Andreessen. And he became rich because he wrote a browser. And look at this. It was created at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I think I'm saying that incorrectly. Wow. So this is Microsoft Internet Explorer version 3. We can browse Google. Thank you, Google, for providing HTTP access. You are supporting the time travelers who are coming from the past to visit your website. How else a time traveler is going to find out what happens in the future if they can't use internet search? So you need a HTTP version of your website, people. Now, look at this. Along this button ribbon, I really like that little kind of, that little fluid thing happening there. Isn't that cool? All right, anyway, this is the problem. Old OS, old browser, you cannot access modern websites. What the fuck are we gonna do? Well, this is Windows 95. Let's try Windows 98. See if that's any better. Shut it down. Shut it down. Okay, so we go back to our command prompt. We're in the DOSBox thing. What was the last command? Now we want to, I think, what's the commands again? New Win98. We want to Win98. Win98. Let me update the script first. Oh my god, PNGs? Oh my god, the test page. What? Oh, because it's the wrong remote. Hold on. Deny. Oh, shit. There we go. Oh my god, there's no git ignore. Oh. Hopefully that's removed it all. So we're not sending the pictures up there. Oh, really? Oh my god. Do it. Good. Okay, so now we've updated that, so all of you are going to have that network in there from the start. I think I did it in the right one. Let me just double check. Did I do it in the run or the install? Okay, let's check the... No, well, I think this is gonna be okay. Okay. Anyhow, so that's there now, and the next step is we want to do Windows 98. That's what we want to do. So we've set up already. Don't need to do that again. We need a Windows 98 now, creating 8 gigabytes. Oh my God, look at that. Now we want to attach the ISO. Win98 to download Windows. There we go. Hopefully that's the OSR 2.5. Shit if it's not. Oh my God, if it's not. Oh my God. Is it? Is that where we got it from? Shit. Archive. Wait, no. OSR 2.5, that's the Windows 95 we should have done. Okay, this is Windows 98 second edition. Let's just go with this. See what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. Now we've attached the ISO. Now we need to install, right? Grok WinPower install Win98. Let's do this. Here we go. Let's put this in a little workspace. Oh, can I boot from the CD-ROM? Let me try. Oh, start Windows 98 setup from CD-ROM. Let's try it. Let's try it. Isn't that cool? Look at that amazing script doing everything for us. Look at this PCI bus scan complete. Fucking ASPI manager for DOS. I mean, look at this crazy shit. How is this possible? It is running on a Mac and it is like a computer from 30 years ago. What the fuck? It's fucking amazing! Amazing. How cool is this? Look at this. That blue color is an epic blue color. It's like a blue purple. And that gray is like golden. That gray is from my youth. I love that gray and that blue. Now, okay. One thing we probably should do is copy the files to the disk, but you know what I mean? So we've got them there when we want to do everything, but let's just go for this. Let's do this right now. Look at this. I mean, Windows 95 setup was cool, but look at this. Look how professional this is. It's like between 95 and 98, they really like locked everything down. You got this little window here. You got the little progress over on the left, like preparing to run Windows, collecting information. Isn't this cool? And then you got the little window where shit's happening. It's such a cool thing, man. Windows 98 setup. Imagine the hundreds, probably 1,000 people that wrote this software made it all work on those crazy old machines. Like, amazing, amazing. And they're not kidding. When it says 41 minutes, they're really not kidding. I think it's really going to take that long. Oh, or do we have available disk? Yep, let's go typical again. Yeah. No, what kind of a name is that? Do it. Copy the files. Please sit back and relax while Windows 98 installs on your computer. Isn't this amazing? Because it's not a computer. It's like a 8 gigabyte file on my macOS SSD hard drive, right? And then an emulated like environment, like a mother, I don't know how they're doing it, but some kind of emulation. And it's fucking running the like some of the most complex and comprehensive software that tried to squeeze everything out of those machines at the time. And it's running that like on this emulated thing that these people on the internet created for like fun. How cool is that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what a flex. There was like billions of dollars probably of revenue from Windows. Easily, I'd say. Probably trillions of dollars. And the value created by Windows is like probably over like 10 to 25 trillion dollars, I'd say, in value created for the whole global society, if you think about it. And then the amount of money that Microsoft spent to create Windows is probably like $2 billion, right? Windows 98, maybe $1.5 billion, probably. And then these fucking people came along on the internet, on GitHub, and they created like some emulator that can run this entire fucking complex software, you know what I mean? Like on any system. That's crazy. That's amazing. And I'm running it right now on a Mac. I'm installing this like Windows thing from, 27 years ago? Into a fucking 8 gigabyte file on my hard disk. Like, look at it. Like, I can go in here. Okay, it's doing shit. But like, if I go into this folder, right? Look, Win98. That file right there HDD.image, that is the hard disk of this crazy machine where Windows is being installed over here. And Windows doesn't know that it's being installed on a hard disk on a Mac. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that like amazing? Anyway. I love this kind of shit. I think it's so fun to bring these things up and to explore them and to see what you can do with them. Because you know what? Out there in the world, there's like CNC lathe machines that are manufacturing high precision components and ATMs and banking computers and air traffic control computers and defense missile computers and radar systems that are running on Windows 95, Windows NT, Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows XP, all of this kind of stuff. Like, it is incredibly spread and distributed throughout the world, and it's an incredibly important system even today. And so that you can install this on your fucking computer, on your macOS laptop that costs like 0.001% of what it costs to build this system. You know what I mean? Like, there used to be this operating system called VAX for these computers. Like, I think the computer was called a VMS, some kind of giant mainframe. And people liked to play around with VAX. It was like one of the original operating systems. But like, it was so expensive, and like, you couldn't like install it because you needed this specialized computer to install it on. And that had VMS had a huge impact in some kind of corporate world in the past, right? But you couldn't access that at all. Like, you had to like queue up, maybe timeshare at a fucking university or something to get access to a machine. But Windows is like, and the PC is like massive impact, but you can access it yourself. It's just such a cool ecosystem. So cool. You know, people always criticize Apple for being like, you know, it's not open, it's a closed ecosystem. But okay, but I can still emulate Windows on Apple. You know what I mean? Like Parallels or Boot Camp, or you can go DOSBOX-X if you want the old systems. We're going to need this code up here. So let's see if we can copy it, just so we can have it in. Normally Safari. Oh, this is not Safari. Isn't that crazy? I'm just context switching between. Look at this. Safari should let me copy this shit. Come on, Safari. What are you doing? Ah, there we go. I saw it. The text. Come on, Safari, you bastard. Let me copy this. Oh my god, just let me copy it. Okay. Oh, that is retarded, I think. That's retarded. Why don't I just type it out? So annoying. Double check it. Beta 8 Mike Foxtrot Romeo Charlie Foxtrot Tango Golf Quebec Charlie Niner Papa Bravo Whiskey Victor Healer Golf 3 Juliet 3 Romeo 3 Yankee Whiskey. Okay, we got it. Sorry, I just like showing off the NATO alphabet. It's kind of cool. I wish more people knew it, you know. When you need to spell something out over the phone to like telephone support, it's like, please, I'm talking NATO. Please. All right, let's bring some shit up here because I am kind of getting bored of this process. I kind of want to know how much memory this like recording is using, but I also want to jump onto like my hacker news and see what's happening here. What's happening? And I am talking about this, and nobody cares. No one cares. I created a BrowserBox client for Internet Explorer 4 and Windows 95 that almost works. Nobody cares. That's okay. I care. I think it's fun. What's happening on Hacker News? Nothing really. This looks interesting. Jesus Christ. Integer generators for 24 pages. Oh my god. Okay, it does no longer look interesting, and it's a WordPress site. Okay, what do we got? Copying Windows 98 files to your computer with hundreds of enhancements and a new suite of wizards and smart tools. Windows 98 helps you keep your computer running smoothly. Oh, I was reading that. System file checker automatically locates my... Oh, I was reading that. By converting real-time 2D and 3D graphics, digital video and audio, and the internet... Converging, not converting. I was like, how do you convert the internet? Okay, good luck, but okay. Windows 98 redefines the role of computer as an entertainment platform with support for DVD, digital audio, and processors with MMX TM technology. You can watch full motion, full screen multimedia titles on your computer with support for multiple monitors. You can extend your Windows desktop to several monitors. MMX is the trademark of Intel Corporation. You know, I like this logo up here, this like Windows logo, which became straightened out. It became sort of the Microsoft Foursquare logo. It's kind of cool. I am curious, why do quite a few like big companies use like all the primary colors in their logo? What's that about? Like Google, Microsoft, there's a few others. Okay, well, I kind of ran out with that, but like it's a thing. Something about it. DirectX. Look at this. We're DirectX. Okay, let's go down a rabbit hole about DirectX. Wait, where did we save our product key? Here. Okay, let's save it. Probably shouldn't save it there, but like, I can save it. Yay. What is DirectX? Wow, it's still going. No. 2021, it died out. 1995 it started, 29 years ago. $23 minutes to go. I think it's going to be faster than that, but it's not exactly, you know. Isn't this incredible? Windows 98 supports more than 1,000 new printers. Can you imagine the software engineering effort to create drivers for 1,000 new printers? Drivers that, by the way, work on the span of hardware that Windows works. Can you imagine the engineering effort? Like, okay, I just want to talk about something here for a minute that's personally important to me. Like, I make this software called BrowserBox, and I support, you know, a couple of platforms, right? A couple of platforms. Look, for August 2025 news, browse the future from the past. Windows 9X support is now in beta. Bring safe modern browsing to legacy Windows 9X systems and browsers. See the compat table. Look at this. I support these systems. The modern Windows operating system, Windows and Windows Server. By the way, the logo kind of sucks. Why is it white squares? What about the color? Debian, yes, works on Debian. Ubuntu, works on Ubuntu. Works on CentOS Stream. Works on Red Hat, Enterprise Linux. Works on Nixos. Works on Docker. Works on LXC. And the client works on Windows 9X. Look at that beautiful logo there. So, this is what my software supports. Just a couple of operating systems. And I'm not saying it always works well, but look at this. It works on Windows 98, Internet Explorer 5. But the amount of effort just to bring it to these systems, nothing to do with hardware, nothing to do with like differences in like devices and shit. Like, it's a lot of effort to bring it to these systems. The advantage is the operating system becomes more robust when you do that. Sorry, the software becomes more robust when you do that because it works across multiple systems. So it's like, it's kind of stretched over multiple systems. And so any kind of bugs that might not have shown up in one system but would have affected at some point maybe get shown from looking at it from the perspective of another system. So I think it's a good exercise as well as useful. But to be honest, like the effort of doing thousands of drivers is just insane. Like, where did they even pull that? Like, how did they even do that? I have no idea. Just insane. So yeah, this is BrowserBox. It's like a remote browser. You can run it on all these different systems. It basically runs a browser on a server, and then you can connect to that like a web app, and so you can browse from that server. So if you're in some region and then you put your BrowserBox in another region, you're browsing like from that other region. It's sort of like a VPN, but it's not. It's not a VPN. It's more, I don't know how to say it. It's more like a remote desktop, but just for the browser. It's sort of, anyway, it's hard to describe, but people use it for all kinds of things because it gives you, it basically turns the browser into like a programmable platform that then you can embed in a website. Like you can have like a BrowserBox view in a website instead of an iframe. And so you're not bound by the restrictions of the iframe. I like supporting lots of different systems. Now we can't support Tails, even though the security use case makes sense, because Tails will not really install Chrome and it will not really install Docker. And so if we can't install Chrome, we can't install Docker, then BrowserBox isn't going to run because BrowserBox needs a browser like Chrome to run, or it needs to run inside Docker. And try as I might, I couldn't manage to get those installed on Tails. So yeah, it's kind of funny that the modern operating system is harder to use than a 30-year-old operating system. But that's what you have. Wow, look at this. Thank you. Please register your copy. The Microsoft Windows 2018. I mean, there should be like a, you know, on the end of games like Doom, there's like a credits roll where you have all the people involved. There should be a credits roll for Windows. Like the incredible work that happened to produce like an operating system that can be emulated today on a Mac, but also like that supported thousands of fucking devices. I mean, it's just insane. Like you can kind of understand why Apple wants to control the entire stack, because like, okay, we control all the hardware, right? We don't have to write drivers for this hardware. We just have to write drivers for hardware that we create, right? So we don't have to support, no one expects our operating system to support all this random shit. That's the responsibility of the device creators themselves. They got to write those drivers if they want it to work. But we basically provide all the hardware that, you know, people find useful. Now we want to boot from the hard disk, I think. Oh, okay. Now if this doesn't work, then we need to go to the run config. But I think this might work actually. Oh, look at this. I love it. I like caps. I like caps. I could do lowercase, but I want to do caps. No cap, no cap. Caps it is. Oh, it's product key time. All right, let's bring this shit into the context of the local page. Okay, let's bring up our key and let's just chuck it in here. Okay, so we got to type it in, BAMFR CFTGQ C9 PBWVHG3J 3R3YW. I kind of feel like I got that incorrect. Let's just go for it. Oh my god, it worked. It worked. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so we're kind of still in the setup. We're still in the setup. That's good. I mean, it's just an incredible engineering achievement. I respect it. And look, if Windows 98 had never really been popular, it'd be less respectable because it's like such an effort, but low impact. But the impact was massive, and the effort to produce it was also heroic and amazing. So I just think it's an incredible, incredible system. And so if you care about, like, actually, no, I ain't going to tell you what to do. That's up to you. Well, okay, I'm going to suggest that you give it a try. You give Windows 98 a try, because I just think it's a fascinating look at sort of recent, highly impactful history that's still relevant today. Look at this. It's like Windows 98 running in macOS. Hello, hello, I'm Windows. Hello, ah. Oh yeah, this is BrowserBox command line tool. I mean, this just looks like it's out of the 80s, right? But that's where my influence comes from. You know, I grew up with all this shit, so I'm like, okay. It's a command line tool. Come on. But there's a graphical part of it, right? The command line tool is just for management. And eventually, we could have a web dashboard, wrapping that command line tool. But I think in general, it's good to have like a source of power, source of truth that is a command line tool. So you can do admin on your database if you got a SaaS app. You can deploy your servers. You can update your certificates, from this command line tool. And then from that command line tool, you could wrap that in whatever admin dashboard that you wanted, But you could also just have a person sitting at a terminal doing this manually. A command line tool, I think, is a great sort of architectural nexus to focus on because it really kind of brings everything together. Anyway. That's how I do it. That's do the simplest thing that works. Now, I kind of feel like we are basically ready to start, so I can probably shift over here. I'm going to, close this down. Oh, well, okay. I'm going to do it next time. Because we're still in the install loop here. We're still in the DOSBOX-X install run. But I could actually go to... Yeah, see, this is... I think I can close this. And I can actually do the run. You know what I mean? Sorry. Start. I mean, maybe the setup hadn't finished, but I think it kind of had. Here we go. Oh, okay. I guess the setup really hadn't finished. So you know what? Let's just close that down and we'll go back to having the disk attached because that's going to be smarter. I'm just gonna wait until it's happy, because I think we've activated the the networking thing, so it's gonna just like try to install stuff for that probably. So maybe that was a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe we should have only put the networking in the run side and then installed it after the main operating system installed. Because this is the first time I've tried to put it just in at the start or whatever. But I mean, we can see how robust this install is. Ah, we found it. That's really cool. That is super cool. Look at that. And it's even asking me to set it up. I love that. That is so... This is easier than what I did before, actually. That is really cool. Yeah, so having the networking in actually works really well. So it just found that network card that we had to kind of do manually on Windows 95. And the first time I did it on Windows 98, I kind of did it manually as well because I didn't have it for the install, but then I put it in later. Like I added, it's sort of like in the physical world, it's like, oh, you would upgraded your like PC and like you installed physically like a network card, like you put it in a slot, like you opened the case, you went to the shop, you bought a network card, you came home, you opened the case, you put the network card in a slot, and then you turned your PC on, and then you asked like Windows to detect that shit. That's what I did the first time because I didn't know any better, I guess, or forgot or whatever. But now it's doing it as part of the main OS install. I mean, hopefully it works. But you can just see how robust like this this installation is. Like that inspires me, having, because it's hard to write software that's robust across many different conditions and pathways of execution and devices and stuff. But like it's so satisfying when you do that. And it's amazing. I think like just see Windows, you know, it's like I'm just like doing whatever here. It's running in an emulator and I'm just like, I'm gonna restart it. And it's just like, yep, I'm gonna keep going from where I was, you know. Where do we want to be? How about Newfound Land? That sounds good. And I love all the like the interface language, like all the little different panels and windows they have. Look at this, we got a drum roll again. Like the language that they created. People say, oh, you know, like people say, oh, Windows was ugly or whatever, but the visual language they created is extremely crisp and clear and very effective. Yeah. I mean, the language that Apple created was great too, but like, in a sense, Apple was like, everything's already finished and done. Expect perfection. And that's satisfying and cool. But like Windows was like, yeah, everything's a work in progress and you're part of that story. Like, you know, so in a sense, it's more of a tool. And the visual language reflected that. Whereas the Apple, which is funny because Apple really wants to be a tool for creativity, but the tools for their like, the symbols, the visual language they used for the tools themselves was like, yeah, everything's already finished. So it's like, okay, no creativity in the deployment of this operating system. That's all just on you, which I mean, I get it. It's sort of like you buy some finished product that's like really refined and high polish, high production values or something, and you're like, okay, I just use this. Whereas like Windows is more like, well, I bought like a bunch of like things in a box that's got compartments, and I've got like, you know, Swiss Army knife stuff and some different hex wrenches and all this kind of stuff, and you know, I got to figure it out, and but it's very laid out really well, you know. And I think that's a funny contradiction because Windows is like not really thought of as like the tool for creativity, whereas Apple sort of is like the tool for creativity, but then Apple's ecosystem and kind of philosophy is more closed and like perfect, like already finished product we deliver to you, sort of like a sculpture piece or an art piece or something, and then you just do what you want with it, right? Whereas Windows is more like embodying the kind of purpose that it's actually for, which is this tool for creativity and productivity, which very much Windows is a tool for that kind of creativity of productivity and business and all that, right? Which certainly is extremely creative. So it's sort of like Apple focuses on the design and aesthetic messaging aspect of it, whereas Windows is like more practical maybe. I'm a big fan of this Microsoft as the logo. This like sort of italic Microsoft down here with the little O in the air. Like, I think that's a cool logo. This was a cool setup process. You savor it before it restarts and he's gone forever. Oh my god, it even restarted well. Here we go. Windows for the first time. Probably. Yep. Do you hear that? That's the chime. I don't know if you hear that. I mean, you probably don't because I'm getting it in my headphones and you're not getting it. That is unfortunate. Look at this beautiful Windows 98 desktop. Isn't that cool? I wish you could hear this sound. It's really awesome. Look at this. Okay. So let's set up our internet connection. Since we've already got the network adapter, it should be kind of straightforward. Oh, okay, this is the wrong way. because this is the modem way. So we actually, let's make the screen a bit clearer. Okay, so again, we want to set it up like before. With enabling the DNS, we give our host a name. We add some DNS servers. We check that the values are right here. Yes. It's gonna say you want to restart probably. And we gotta log in. Okay. So let's again access the internet here. Oh. We got this cool thing again. I wish you could hear it. Okay, I guess I need to go through this or whatever, just to get rid of it. But I think I also need to, I've adjusted the network settings, right? I need to adjust the internet options out here because I need to say that I'm connecting through a LAN, right? Rather than, here we go. So I mean, there is no modem, right? Like it's not a modem that we're using the local network. So this is sort of like the common way that people back then connected to the internet was like over the phone line using like a modem. But that's not what we're doing, you know? So let's just close this down. Nope, it doesn't want to close. Okay. Oh my God, I just canceled it. Yes. This is what we want. We want this internet connection wizard connect through a local area network. There is no proxy server, but it's going to try. I don't want a mail account. And see the underlines of the characters? I can just press that key if I want. Now I think Internet Explorer is going to open and it's going to be like, oh, I can't do anything. It'll just try and detect the proxy settings one time and then it'll like just store that away and it won't do it again. But now we're going to basically be on the internet. Let's see what version of Internet Explorer we have. Look, we've got a DNS working, but it can't do it because whatever reason. We got Internet Explorer 5. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Okay, so let's try now. We get Google again. Wow, look at that. We've got Google. We're on the internet in this old computer. But if we click on this, it's not going to work because it's going to be HTTPS, right? Okay, so that's the thing, right? We got Windows 98, we got Internet Explorer 5, but we can't access the modern web. What the fuck are we doing? You know what I'm saying? It's like we've got all these computers out there that are running these old operating systems, but they can't access the modern internet. Like, look at this shit. This came out in like copyright 1995 to 1999. I mean, that is crazy, right? But this software, even though it works, it can't open the modern web because it's all HTTP. And the HTTPS that it knows, it doesn't have the modern ciphers that everybody uses now, so it can't access those sites. It won't talk to the protocol. So it's like your old computers with their old browsers won't be able to get on the internet. But, ta-da, if you have yourself a BrowserBox, you will be able to run, look at this, Windows 9X. You will be able to connect to Windows 9X to the modern internet. Look at that. That's DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo did not fucking exist in 1995. It didn't exist. So let's do that right now. Let's set up our BrowserBox. So we already have BrowserBox installed. Let's make sure we got the latest version. Okay, so we're on current version 12.1.4, but the latest is 12.1.5. So there's a background update, so we gotta wait a little bit for that. Okay, so while that's doing, we're just gonna like run the BrowserBox Windows 98 compatibility. So if we look at this, we see Windows 9X has got a little dagger next to it. If we go to that dagger, Windows 9X clients are supported by running the new BrowserBox Win9X BB Pro command, which will output the login link for legacy Windows clients. Supported operating systems. However, you can now connect to BrowserBox from legacy Windows 9X machines and browsers. But you still need to run the BrowserBox server on a modern system. So our modern system for this purpose is our macOS machine, right? And we're emulating in DOSBox-X Windows 98. And so we're going to be connecting from Windows 98 to BrowserBox running on our macOS machine, right? Okay, so let's see if our update is done yet. We got to hit the BrowserBox again. It's prepared, so it's going to install it. Okay, so now we're complete. Now, what does it say? It says Win9X BB Pro. So we're on the latest version. We've got a valid license. It's setting this shit up for us to be able to run in Windows 90X compatibility mode, waiting for Windows 9X compatibility server. Here we go. Oh man, look at that. I don't want to type that in. So we got to run BBX setup to change the token to something easy. All right. Oh, it's going to complain because it's already running, I guess. Okay. BBX setup T. Okay, so all the ports are free. Now we can run our Win9X BB Pro with an easy token. I think, yeah. And we can just type the address in. Look at this. We've got our Windows Internet Explorer Zero access to the modern internet. Look, dosego.com. Okay, don't show the warning. It can't be displayed. What about YouTube? It cannot be displayed. What about... Can even Microsoft be displayed? Not even Microsoft. So old browsers, old operating systems cannot access the modern web. It's not fair. It's not fair. But look, here's our classic, here's our access point for the modern internet. 172.2010.2. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Look at that. Select or create a tab to begin. Look at that. We are on the modern internet in Windows 98, running on DOSBOX-X on macOS in 2025, 30 years after, 27 years after the release. Internet Explorer 5.0. And we are on the modern web right now. Look at that crazy shit. How are we here? What's Donald Trump doing? He's the president in 2025. He wasn't the president in 1998, but he's the president now. What else? So we're typing something in. Internet Explorer. Let's check it out. We're searching. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We're scrolling down. This is legacy client for BrowserBox running on Windows 98, a 30-year-old operating system, running in Internet Explorer 5, and we're accessing the modern internet right now. Let's open another tab. Classic Internet Explorer didn't even have more than one tab. Didn't even have more than one tab. Look at that, man. It's the modern internet. It's the modern internet on Windows 98. What the How crazy is that? How is Internet Explorer doing this? Look at this. I want to click on Wikipedia. I can do it. I can click on Wikipedia. I can read Wikipedia on Windows 98, on Internet Explorer 5. It's possible! It's possible! Wow. That's crazy. No, it's kind of slow, but I guess, you know, Windows 98, Internet Explorer 5, emulated on macOS, M1 from 2020. It was kind of slow, I guess. But it works. I can read and access and type into and scroll the modern internet. What about YouTube? Is YouTube going to work? Oh my God, YouTube. YouTube, the gold standard of the modern web. Impossible. Cannot be accessed. Impossible. Will not. Couldn't work. Never. Couldn't work. Internet Explorer 5. What are we going to search for? What are we gonna watch? I mean, how is this not crashing? I feel like... Okay, okay. Let's search for 3i Atlas. Let's see what's happening. So you know this is actually from 2025 and not some kind of weird fake that like I recorded in 1998. Cosmic disclosure. Scientists study interstellar comet. Okay, here we go, here we go. Oh my god, I hear sound right now. I have to let you hear this. This is crazy.
Customize and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
On YouTube in Internet Explorer 5 on Windows 98, and we're about to see a video about 3i Atlas. That's crazy.
It takes 90 seconds for this NASA-engineered AC cool down your room. It's smaller than a toaster.
What?
Cools
Two
any
ads?
room in 90 seconds.
Oh my god.
And
thank God I have
Aliens
YouTube
paying us a
Premium.
visit from another star system? What's up with that?
This is so
Let's
crazy.
go back a few thousand years. Consider that people tried to understand the world around them. And in so doing, every time they got to a point that they didn't understand,
The frame rate is awesome, but like,
in came
it's the modern web.
the power of a god. Let's go back to ancient Greece. Storms rose up in the seas. Where did that come from? How? Why? Did they have meteorology? No. Did they understand barometric pressure? No. Did they know anything about the atmosphere? No.
Okay,
But they knew
let's
the
shut
will
down
of
our BrowserBox.
Poseidon.
Remove the
Poseidon
power
would-
of the future from the past. And go back to Windows. And go like, can we just access this using normal Internet Explorer? Is it gonna work? It doesn't work because it's Internet Explorer 5 from 25 years ago running on Windows 98. It doesn't work. Even though the date is 2025, it doesn't work. So, if you want to bring modern browsing to legacy systems, ancient browsers and operating systems, as good as they are, they can't access that modern web. You need a BrowserBox. You got to get in touch with us. sales@dosaygo.com. If you want your license, hit us up. We can sort you out. We can get you set up. BrowserBox, browsing the future from the past.